How do you boost your metabolism? For those of you that are wanting a checklist, this is it. I'm going to give you 10, actually I gave you a bonus. There's 11 tips on how to boost your metabolism. And this is especially appropriate for women who are in midlife, in menopause. And I'm going to open up my notes here because we have a variety of things that really involve exercise. Although this is not an exercise video, they're going to refer to weight training. We'll talk about HIIT and when you don't. And we'll talk about different ways to eat and other lifestyle habits. So buckle your seatbelt and potentially get some notes ready. I'll put all the notes down below for each of these 11 steps and some of the links to some of the things I use for each of these. All right, number one, if you're a woman in midlife, number one that you can do on a daily basis, unlike exercise where you have to schedule that here and there, is eat more protein. And when I say eat more protein, that's elusive, right? So it really depends, but here's the target. And this is based on research. This is based on specifically on a research study that came out in about 2018. And there are many others. And yet it takes a long time for things to make it to mainstream and be included in guidelines and recommendations. So this is going to sound to some of you high. But the amount of protein that we need to age well and hold on, maintain our lean muscle tissue so that we have a higher metabolism is about 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight. So if you're in kilograms, you've got to do a little math. So it's not according to the RDA. It's according to a very easy formula. How much do you weigh in pounds? That many grams of protein is your ideal. Now, if you're just short of that, you're 5 grams short of it, you're still going to benefit. But there are a couple things going on here. So number one, the protein is the building block of muscle. We need that and we know it. But also making sure you have protein in each and every meal, even at a snack. But at a meal, at about 30 or more grams, we get over this muscle protein synthesis hump. And that is what we need in order to hold on to our lean muscle mass. So if you have a little protein at a meal, but it's a low dose, say a couple of eggs, it's not enough. We need 30 grams of protein. So there are other videos that talk about where to get that and what 30 grams looks like. But I want you to be aware of how much you're getting now. Even that will start helping you get closer to your goal. So there is this thermogenic effect of food. Every time we eat, our metabolism goes up a little bit because your body is now digesting and dealing with that food. Well, eating protein bumps that thermogenic effect of food up higher than other foods like carbohydrates. So it's an important consideration. And if you look at the total amount of calories that you eat in protein, it is said in some of the literature that about 30% of that total caloric amount actually goes to burning and breaking it down and digesting it. Those are pretty good odds. So just 2/3 of that is going into your body and getting used, probably by muscle. It's not very often that protein is stored as fat, but let's say calories do count. So you can't just totally ignore and eat more protein and know or think that it's not going to get stored as fat if you eat too much. Okay, but it also, the benefit is it keeps you full. That's a gold one, right? Number 2 is drink water early and often. So make it a habit to, first thing when you get up, whether that's on your nightstand, it's on your bathroom counter, or it's in the kitchen, right beside what might be your next habit, might be coffee. We'll talk more about that. Have a tall glass of water. The body overnight gets dehydrated. And ideally, we avoid, some of us, water before bed, but you would do well if you actually drank water before you went to bed too. So do drink first thing in the morning, at least 12 ounces, tall glass of filtered water. If you want to put something else in it, a little salt or sodium will help you be more hydrated throughout the day. I will generally do salt crystals. So Himalayan salt crystals, I'll cover that with water, saturate the water, and then take a teaspoon of that out and use that in a tall glass of water. It will help you retain the water as opposed to having it run right through you. So if you're drinking more water, noticing you're in the bathroom more, it actually may not be hydrating you. You may need electrolytes. But remember that if you do that, it will help. Now, some say drink cold, some say drink room temperature. I'm a room temperature girl. I tend to drink more when it is that. Whichever helps you drink the most is really the best answer, because if your body is stressed, dehydrated, it will store fat, not burn fat. Number 3, based on your stress level, do exercise. So some will say do HIIT, do high intensity exercise. And I say for women who are under stress already, susceptible to high levels of cortisol, simply because estrogen has come down, we actually may not want to do HIIT. So it's based on how are you doing. Are you fatigued and tired all the time? Then it's not your time to do HIIT. It's probably going to backfire. In fact, if you do, restore before more is number 1, 10 and a flipping 50. So do HIIT if your energy is good and you're sleeping well. Then you're ready to add HIIT, which can help you burn more fat. That's high intensity interval training. You're getting breathless and you're completely recovering, and you're going back and forth and doing that maybe 4 times. But those little work intervals are only about 20 seconds long. They don't have to be long at all. But if you're more tired all the time, you do want to move, but go for walks. Think about low-level foundational exercise and maybe even 10-minute snacks of exercise walks during the day is better for you until that energy is good, you're sleeping better. Next, number 4 is lift heavy weight. Yes, you need that cardio, and you need heavy weights. So choosing the appropriate cardio and then lifting as heavy a weight as you can. When I say heavy weight, if I'm talking to 5 women, it means 5 different things. And in a way, it should. But what I want you to do is to start with a higher repetition range and a lower weight. And over the period of weeks, actually a couple of months, work your way to a heavier weight that you can do 10 or fewer times. Some of us will find there are certain joints where we have old injuries, we can't go very heavy. That's okay. Do it on a joint-by-joint basis, but your body is unique, and you may be able to lift heavy with your lower body and not so heavy with your upper body because of a shoulder, and that's okay. But the more you do that, you are doing 2 things. The protocol is the same, whether we want to boost metabolism with more lean muscle mass or we want to build bone density. It requires a heavier weight. Hope that helps. Okay, now, number 5 is sleep. Yeah, so passively, all the exercise you might be doing and all the eating of protein, those great habits, won't help. You won't get the benefit from them if you're not sleeping. And the reason is hormones. We produce testosterone and we produce growth hormone in our deep cycles of sleep. So if you're sleeping with somebody who snores, if you are sleeping with a dog who wakes you up, these things are actually disrupting your metabolism. Not just your night's sleep, but your testosterone and growth hormone we need to be produced during those deep cycles of sleep, and your cortisol, if you're sleep deprived at all, the next day will be off. That causes a rise in blood sugar, a rise in insulin, and puts you in fat storage. And it's very hard to come back out of it once you've started your day like that. That day is not going to be so great for you. Sleep is a high priority. Number 6 is drink green tea. I prefer using Matcha, M-A-T-C-H-A. Don't confuse that with maca. Talked about that in a different video. But you want to drink green tea or the Matcha, which is like powdered green tea leaves. So a cup or a mug, and I started with one every day, is worth about drinking 8 to 10 cups of just regular green tea in a bag. And the benefit is an auric value or a really high antioxidant value. It's actually great for skin, your skin quality and little lines and wrinkles, but it's also wonderful for your immune system and for recovery. But caffeinated matcha actually boosts fat burning after interval training if you've had it in your bloodstream before the interval by 29%. Now, here's the good news. Even on days you don't exercise, because you shouldn't every day do high intensity, if I'm resting and recovering today, but I've had this, even sitting here, I'm burning fat at a 24% higher rate, just sitting here. So very valuable elevating it. Now, it's not caffeinated, so if you're sensitive to caffeine, you want to watch that. Matcha generally has a lower caffeine amount compared to a cup of coffee, but it's not non-caffeinated. Important thing to remember. I'll share the link below for Peak Tea, which I like because it's quadruple screened, no heavy metals, no mold, and it's one of the only green teas, the matcha, that's been tested like that. Coffee is number 7, right? So I'm really throwing a lot of things that we actually like to do at you. But this is only if you tolerate it. If you don't, matcha is a great substitute. And if you do tolerate it, it's been known for decades as an ergogenic aid. That is, it boosts sports performance, and it actually can help boost fat burning from exercise. So it's something that you might have a cup or a small cup before, smaller than this, before you do your exercise, and help you feel like you can go further, go faster without it feeling further or faster. So it's a definite aid for speed and enhancement, and that's been known for years that athletes have used it, but you too can use that to your benefit. Now, if coffee makes you anxious, obviously you need to leave this one out. When I do coffee, I like doing a habit I already have, but having something even better in it. I'll share the coffee that I drink. It's 4-sigmatic. It's mushroom coffee. Doesn't taste like mushrooms, but it's got adaptogens in it that help to balance out cortisol, keep you alert, concentrate, and focus much better. Number 8, use MCT oil. MCT stands for medium chain triglyceride, as opposed to shorter or long chain. And the thing about MCT oil is it actually is used for energy in your body, readily available, and does not store as fat easily. That's an important caveat, right? So you can get MCT oil by just using coconut or coconut products, or you can actually buy just simply bottles of MCT oil. Ways that you can use it. I add coconut powdered milk to my coffee or to my tea. I'm getting MCT oil in it. Or I could add it, just the oil, if I wanted to. I prefer to get the flavor from the coconut, but you may not like coconut. That's okay. Another way to get it. Other clients will take a few drops or a teaspoon or a tablespoon and add that to a smoothie. So they're just adding their healthy fat that way. But MCT oil is fantastic. It can also help you if something like caffeine spikes your blood sugar, as it does mine. But when I want the caffeine, even though I know it's not great for me, if I add MCT oil, it decreases the blood sugar spike that I would get otherwise. Number 9, move all day. If your exercise is not giving you more energy, so you feel like moving all day, you're more inspired to do more activity during the day, your exercise is probably going to need a tune-up. But what I'm talking about is NEAT. It's called non-exercise activity time, and that's just times when between sitting down doing a video. After this, I'll get up, I'll change a load of laundry, I'll do a little cleaning in the kitchen, maybe I will dance around for 2 to 5 minutes, and it's 2 to 5 is all it takes to break up about an hour to 2 hours of sedentary time. All morning, all afternoon, even that little bit decreases blood sugar levels after each meal by a significant amount, about 17%. If you want to make that even better, after each meal, go for a walk, or again, dance around in your living room. Those significantly decrease blood sugar levels by getting your muscles just active, using and taking the blood sugar away from your bloodstream and storing it in the muscles and the liver where it belongs, taking you out of fat storage. Very smart and low level, low output, no energy really required. Next, number 10, use heat or use cold, or do both. So cold plunges are super sexy right now. People all over are putting ice cubes in their bathtubs and cold plunging, or they're buying cold plunges to sit on their patios or in their basement. And there's a good reason. It actually mobilizes brown fat, which helps you It's what shivers. It's what's going on when you shiver in the cold, or you go outside in the winter, you're not dressed warmly enough. Your body actually has to heat things up, and that takes more energy expenditure. So you're inducing that kind of a reaction. Then there's heat. So sauna. Obviously, you know, if you're outside and it's really hot out, you start sweating. Well, that's your heating and cooling system, again, trying to equalize and keep you at this homeostasis of comfort, and it takes more energy for your body to do that. I use a sauna from Sunlight, and I'll share the link down below for that. If you're still watching in July, it's a great time to get started because it's free shipping, and those things are heavy, right? So I'm talking infrared sauna in that case. Number 11, this is your bonus. Use intermittent fasting. Just use it wisely. You always want to exercise. As a midlife woman, exercise fed, not fasted. Otherwise, you put yourself into a state of stress because you're in low energy availability. You don't want to get there. You actually are already more easily breaking down muscle than building it up. You need the muscle, remember, for the metabolism. But as a woman in midlife, you're already 20 years probably post your peak of muscle mass. And as estrogen went down, cortisol went up, breakdown of muscle is happening much easier and faster. We have to work harder by eating more protein and doing that heavy lifting to hold on to our muscle. But intermittent fasting can be helpful for helping your body get into, we're giving it a stressor, but we're controlling that stressor. And sometimes if you're on a plateau, using a hormetic stressor that is enough and takes you over the edge kind of kicks that metabolism back into fat burning. You may want to consult with Dr. Mindy Peltz, who's got a great book. I don't have it sitting here, but it's Fast Like a Girl. And you will read how to do it and how to do it responsibly so you don't throw yourself into the fast. And there you have it, 10, actually 11 ways that you can boost your metabolism. Don't forget to subscribe and click the bell above if you want a notification every time there's a brand new video out. Let me know what your questions are, and I'll see you on the flip side.